Welcome back to part 2 of our little mini series of exploring a Python library I wrote for the Bureau of Economic Analysis for the United States. So this is an API client library for those of you who want access to free economic data, maybe for your work or whatever it might be. But this is a library that you can use if you'd like to go and get some of that particular data. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze, so be ready. You might hear a loud sound. Previous video, we talked about the website a little bit, what type of data was available to us. We also went through the steps necessary to navigate the GitHub repo if you'd like to maybe download it or something like that. And we also saw how to install the library. And now we're walking through the process of writing some code that will hit some of the endpoints that are available in the particular client. So continuing on with our wonderful little series, let's move to the next endpoint. Now, the next endpoint is actually going to give us some data back. So we're going to grab the GDP numbers for the finance and insurance industry for the year 2018 and 2019 on an annual basis. So grab GDP numbers for the finance and insurance industry. Okay, we're going to create a new variable called GDP by industry. This will equal the client, and then there's going to be a GDP by industry endpoint, or sorry, method, and this one takes a few arguments. The first one is called year. Now, if you want to put in multiple years, all you need to do is provide a list of strings where each string represents a year. So in this case, if I want to do 2019 and 2018, it would look like so. Now, keep in mind, I do have in the documentation that there is an all parameter. So if you want every year, that's fine. All you need to do is all. It does not need to be in a list. It just needs to be the variable all. However, in this example, we want 2 separate years. The next argument is the industry. Oh, good Lord, can I type today? Apparently not. Okay, and for the finance and insurance industry, that has an ID of 52. And then from here, we have the final argument, which is the frequency. The frequency is either A for annual, Q for quarterly, or M for monthly. Now, you can return back annual, quarterly, and monthly. All you need to do is you need to pass through a list with A, Q, and M. Or if you just want a particular one, so say for example, I just want annual, then in that case, it would just be the letter A. So in this case, let's say I want the frequency to be annual. Now it would be the frequency A. And then what we're going to do is we're now going to print out that wonderful information for us to read. Okay, so it looks like we got a lot of good information for us. A lot of it can be a little bit of a mumbo jumbo, but you can see here there is some information. Now, if you'd like to look at some sample responses, that's fine. I do have them here. And you can see these ones are a little bit longer, and some of these files, depending on what you're looking at, it can obviously be a lot. Now, in some cases, there was actually another argument called table ID. Because I didn't pass through table ID, it defaulted to all. And so now you can see the quarterly and the yearly values for the finance industry. You can see the gross operating surplus and the value. And then they have some references notes as well, too. So lots of good information. Keep in mind, you're going to have to read through some of it just because I don't know what 90% of these codes mean. However, they're usually pretty well documented for the most part. Okay, moving on to the next endpoint. Alrighty, so let's imagine for a second we want to grab the national product and income data. Well, let's grab that. So grab the national product and income data. And so here we're going to create a new variable, call it national income, and we're going to call our client again. And then there's going to be a national income and product accounts. This would be simply, the first argument would be the table name. The table name in this case is going to be T10101. Now, if you are like me, you do not memorize table ID numbers, so I will show you a resource in a few seconds on something you can use to give you some more descriptive information other than a code. Now from here, we're going to do a little bit of a difference when it comes to the frequency. In this case, I want both annual and quarterly data. And then from here, I also want multiple years again. I want 2011 and 2012. And just like that, we got all the information we need. So let's print out this one for us to see as well. Okay, looks good too. Let's go to our little JSON file so we can see it there. That way we don't have to, get too lost in it. I think it's this one. Here we go. So again, lots of good information. You can see now we have some annual data and some quarterly data as well. We have the table name, the series code, the description, and some other information as well. So lots of good information if you ever need it right there. Now, if you want information for table names, I do have an Excel file in the resources folder, and I am going to open this up so that way you can look at it. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I will show you just a little bit about how it's laid out. Alrighty. So if you go on the first page, there will be a table ID. So this is, if you want to, this is for a particular different endpoint, but this is something where if you need the table ID and you need to know which table name it matches up, this is how you would do it. There's also a metro list with an area ID, area name, a zip code, and a city. And then you have the table name. So if I want that T10, whatever it was, T1, maybe it's not this one. Oh no, I think this is a different one. But anywho, this one also has some more table names in it. And so it has a lot of different stuff about the name, the description of it, and the years that it covers, and then main areas as well. I think there's actually a series one in here. Let me double check. Series, I don't know if it's going to give me anything, but we'll see in a second. Y0, no, it doesn't have it here. And then also keep in mind too, anything I might potentially miss, they do have a lot of information on here. I will try to put as much resources as I can. Some of this is more scattered than others. However, I have come across a few different resources where, once I see something, I try to kind of put it there. So I will try to add to this as I get more information. I just have to take the time to do it. Alrighty, the next endpoints. Let's do the same thing, but in this case, we are going to get the detailed data. So it's almost identical, but we're going to just change a few different things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the detail endpoints. And from here, I am going to change the code. So in this case, I want U20305. And I think in this one too, national income, where do they have it? National income, regional income. National income, it's NIP, that's all I remember. National NIP, if I can find it. Underline, input, output, regional, no, fixed assets, national income and product accounts. Here we go. And then this one is U203. So this is personal consumption expenditure, current dollars, annual, quarterly, and monthly for all years. Okay. So this one is a little bit different. So this one they're doing all. This one they are doing monthly for 2015 and 2016. This one is auto and truck unit sales, production and inventories, expenditures, and prices. Good Lord. And then they have the details one as well. Okay, here you go. So this doesn't tell you a lot, but they do have a table ID mapping. This one I already have in there, but it's there if you need it. So let's just run it and see what we get. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern though here, right? That's the important part. Okay, so we got the details. And then this is how the output would look as well. Personal consumption expenditures. In this case, what was it? We had a annual and quarterly. So we have annual data, quarterly data, and so on and so on. So that's the same one, but now more detailed information. And then continuing on, let's go to our next one. And the next one is going to be fixed assets. Grabbed fixed assets data. And in this one, we will call it fixed assets. It will be BEA client, fixed assets. And this one, here we go. The first one is going to be the table name. This will be FAAT201. Okay. And then this one, I want 2011 and 2012. This will be a list, 2011 and 2012. Every time I read out these table names, I feel like I'm giving Stormtrooper identification numbers. So I kind of like that, but I just wish these were a little bit more descriptive. So I'll have to kind of see if I can maybe do like an enumeration class or something to make this a tiny bit more intuitive. Alrighty, let's print out the fixed assets. Ooh, this sounds like a long one. Good Lord. Normally when it takes this long, it scares me. Oh, no. Oh, no, that wasn't that long. Okay. Maybe it just took a little bit. Oh, I think this is a good point to bring it up because I forgot to bring it up. There is an API calling limit. You have 1,000 API calls per minute, 30 errors per minute, or 200 of megabytes of raw data per minute. I haven't hit this one. I haven't actually hit any, but just be aware they are there for some people who want to do like very big bulk downloads. You might not be able to do it all at once. And this is what your fixed asset data would look like as well. So you have current dollars, lots of good stuff. And this again would all be under the data. This would be all under results. You'd have dimensions, data, notes. Then you would have the request, the results. So API, go to your results. You can go to your data, or you can go to your dimensions, or you can go to your notes. Each is there for you. Okay, moving on to the next one. We are going to do U.S. direct investment positions in China and Asia for 2011 and 2012. So we're going to get U.S. direct investment positions. This will be investments equals BEA client, direct investments, and multinational enterprises. Then we have a bunch of arguments. Direction of investment. So is it inward, internally, or domestically, or is it outward and or international? Classification. We want a country. We also have a series ID. This one you can pass through multiple values. And then from here, we have years. This is like our previous ones. And then we have 2012. And then we have countries. With this one, we have country codes. So this is 650 and 699. And just like this, it would be investments. Again, with country, you can do all. You can do all. I think series ID, you can do all. Direction of investment, you have to specify. Outward or inward. Country or industry. So in this case, I'm doing a country because I'm doing a country code. There's industry also. So you don't have to do country. You can do industry as well. And then there's footnotes. So I think that means like the notes. It is true by default. So if you don't want it, you have to put it to false. Let's do this one. And then 2011, industry all, country 650, 699, so on and so on. Or no, No. Yes. Lots of stuff. Millions of dollars you can see here. So obviously lots of good information if you need that as well. There is also, ooh, okay. We're going to do this one, direct investments. Okay, so we're going to do this one, but now we're going to do activity investments. Slightly different. This one is going to be activities. Okay. And this one is still outward. I'm going to change this one, country by industry. Series ID, I'm changing this to 4, and I'm going to add 5. Year is still 2011 and 2012. Country is now 202. And then there's a few new arguments. The first one is the ownership level. This is false, and I'll go over what all these mean. There's industry, that I want to all, so I want every industry. Non-bake affiliates only, and I want that to false. Let's read through it a little bit. So, where is it? Footnotes, true industry, country, states. I thought this was the one. Okay, activities of multinational enterprises, operations, and finances, U.S. parent enterprises, and their foreign affiliates and U.S. affiliates. So if you do non-bank affiliates only, it won't return banks, I believe. And then ownership level, true for majority-owned affiliates, false for all affiliates. There's country, series ID, data series identifier, so on and so on. And then, what is it? Country or industry classification, country or industry, and this one I did country by industry, so I'm gonna have to look that one up again. But we'll run this. Again, lots of good stuff. It would look something like the following if you want that. Okay, next one. There is balance of goods. Balance of goods. Grab the balance of goods. This one is going to be balance of goods equals be a client, international transactions, and then we need the indicator. This is going to be balance of goods. This one I still have to get the full documentation on. Area or country. In this case, I want China, a country. I need a year, which is 2011 and 2012. And then I need a frequency. The frequency in this case will be A for annual. We'll print out our balance of goods. This is getting the balance of goods with China for 2011 and 2012. And did I not dump it into a particular... Oh, no, I did. International transactions. You can see here, this is, again, what the data would look like. Balance current account, balance capital account, balance of goods, balance of goods, balance of goods and services, balance prime indicator, lots and lots of data. But you can see here that there's obviously a lot of good information if you ever need it. Lots of good information. And you can see there's lots of stuff in here as well. Okay, moving on to the next one. There is U.S. assets. Grab U.S. assets. Okay, that's straightforward. We're going to create a new variable, call it U.S. assets. This will equal the client. And then in this case, I want international investment positions. This one, I want the type of investment. This will be a financial assets, excluding financial derivatives. This one, the components will equal the change position price. Change in position attributable to price changes for all available years. So then this is going to be year equals all. And then I want a frequency of annual. God. And to think I studied this stuff. Sometimes the nomenclature gets me a little bit, but it's okay. So you can see here, there's, different stuff. Now this one, I don't think they even gave me anything. No, they give us the dimensions, results, data value. So, it is what it is. And then, what else is it? Input output data. So, that's the next one. Input output data. Yeah, input output data. We only have a few more left, so I'm just going to try to power through them. Input and output data. So in this case, I would say input output data equals BEA client, input output statistics. I want a table ID, so the table I want to specify is 56. And then this one would be industry by total requirements, something like that. And then I need year. This one, I'm just going to do 2010 and 2011. Hopefully there's something. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, I don't know why that one's not working. There's a possibility that I didn't. Oh, I know what it is. I didn't print it out. That's probably why it's not working. Let's try again. No, not that one. God. Oh, God. Oh, I thought it was going to go on forever. Okay, so that's input output data. So it would look something like this. Where is it? Input output statistics. Again, lots of good information. So 56, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting. Fascinating. Utilities. Oh, fascinating. All right, let's move on to the next one. We are going to do underlying GDP by industry. Oh, okay. I feel like I just did this one. Did I not? I don't think I did, but we'll do it anyway. Grab underline GDP by industry. Underline GDP by industry equals the BEA client, underline GDP by industry. Industry in this case, I want everybody. So I'm going to do all. I'm going to do a frequency of A. And then I'm going to do a year of 2012 to 2013. What else? Oh, table ID. Table ID you can actually set to all. Table ID equals all. And then I'm going to print it out. Pretty prints, underline GDP by industry. Whoa. So this does happen sometimes. Just give it a second. It's not uncommon for that to happen if it freaks out a little bit. You can see here, it's going to probably print a ton of stuff. I just did every industry. So there is a possibility that will be running for a little bit. So while that runs, I will start writing the next code. In this case, we're going to do international trade services. So grab international trade services. In this case, we'll call it international trade services equals the BA clients, international trade services, this case, type of service. I have all service types. The next one is the trade direction. This will be the imports. And then the year will equal the 2014 and the 2015, not 2014 again, 2015. The affiliation will equal all affiliations. And then the final one will be the area or country. Okay, and then we will print out the international trade services. So sorry if I don't know necessarily what every single one of these arguments are. I still have to go through some of them and document them. But I do want to at least show you how to use the endpoints. And some I tried to, again, just put as much in there as I possibly could find at this point. So it might not have everything, but I'm hoping it gets at least people enough to get started. That's the important stuff. So again, I'll try to add to this as time goes on, but I try to do my best at this point to at least give you an idea broadly of how they were documenting it. So hopefully it can kind of keep you occupied, right? Okay. Where are we? International trade services. Here we go. Looks good. I'm happy. This one looks like it was empty again. So I'll probably have to check that one and see if it's, oh, earliest year, earliest full year. Oh, interesting. So some of these too, they might not actually have some data, but apparently those were the ones that they were specifying. So I'll keep playing around with some of these and see if potentially I need to change some arguments. It's very much possible. Other than that, though, that actually was the last endpoint. So if you have any final questions, by all means, ask away, and I will do my best to answer them. Otherwise, in our next series, I would say with APIs, I'm debating whether to do the Federal Reserve or the Federal Registrar. So, you know, if you have a preference for either one, you know, you can always put it down in the comments. I'm always open to hearing which one. I personally find the Federal Registrar a little bit more interesting, but it's a beast and it's a confusing API. It's not that it's like hard to use. There's just so many arguments you can pass through. So it's a little bit intimidating, to say it nicely. So again, you know, just keep an eye out. That's going to be coming soon at some point. But yeah, so thank you again for watching, everybody. We will see you in the next video.